So good morning, a very warm welcome to this mindfulness session. It's Roz here from Present Mind. This morning, what I'd like to do is just talk really briefly about the difference between our external and internal environment. And I think certainly for me with practicing mindfulness, I've really noticed quite a significant, if that's the right word, difference between the external and internal environment. And just the fact that our external environment, it just happens. You know, the virus just happens. Our lives have been changed so significantly. For some people, you know, some people describe it as something quite pleasant actually at the moment. And for others, the impact can be really challenging. And the one thing that is really evident is that we have very little control over our external environment. Stuff just happens. You know, even to the point where this morning I went out for a really lovely walk with my little dog, walking through the woods, and it was wonderful and that was very pleasant. And then the next thing I have a phone call from my son who's on his paper round and he's got a really bad nosebleed. And suddenly my external environment changed really quite rapidly. And this is just a tiny example, but this is happening all the time. And we have very little control over our external environment. But what we do have control over, and this is where mindfulness practice becomes so precious, I think, certainly in my own experience, is that it can really help us to have some kind of control over our internal environment. And by that I mean control over our thoughts, our feelings, so different physical sensations that arise in the body, and our emotions, and also, of course, therefore, our behaviour. And so practicing mindfulness, I felt, especially recently, is really providing me with the resources, those inner resources, to be able to manage the challenges that we're faced with externally. So many of you may have come across the name Jon Kabat-Zinn. He's a very well-known mindfulness teacher. He introduced mindfulness into the Western world, so very influential. And he has a very famous quote: "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And this is just so true when we're practicing mindfulness. We can't stop the waves, we can't stop challenges from happening, but we can really learn how to build the resources that can be so crucial for us in our everyday lives to manage these stormy times. So what I'd like to do now is guide you through a mindfulness practice. This is a formal practice, focusing on the body and the breath, keeping it simple, and beginning the practice by taking your awareness to your posture. I'm assuming that you're all sitting. Of course, if you want to lie down, you can, if that's more comfortable for you. So sitting with a straight spine, the kind of open posture, relaxed shoulders. Hands resting in the lap, feet flat on the floor, if you're in that position. And closing your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. You might choose to just lower your gaze so that you've got a soft focus in front of you. I'm going to start and end the practice with the chime of the bell. So beginning this practice by taking your awareness to the top of your head. So just sensing, what does your head feel like? Head resting on the shoulders, supported by the neck. How does your face feel? You notice a sense of almost clenching in the head and the face, or tightness there, perhaps not. Just be interested in the sensations that arise, that you notice. And if you're aware of a sense of tension and holding in the face and in the jaw, maybe you'd like to, with that awareness now, you have some choice. Maybe you'd like to choose to soften around those areas, perhaps softening with each out breath. Around the eyes too, and the forehead. With each out breath, just softening if you're noticing tension or a sense of holding. Moving your awareness now to the neck, to the throat, around the back of the neck. Notice how it feels there. And the shoulders. And again, with each out breath, just allowing those areas to soften if you're noticing tension there. The body lets go of the breath as it breathes out. We can let go of tension too. Just moving your awareness now down both arms, past the elbows, to the hands. Just notice, how do the hands feel? Maybe you're holding your hands. Is there tension there, or are they soft and relaxed? And can you sense into the contact that the hands are making? So we're not thinking about the hands. We're just sensing into whatever sensations are there. And perhaps noticing that sense of the hands just resting in what we call the being mode. They're still, not doing anything. Perhaps our minds can learn from this. Maybe over time become still too. Just taking your awareness now to the torso, so focusing on the tummy area, the chest, and around the back, the spine. And perhaps you notice that gentle rise and fall with each in-breath and each out-breath. As the body breathes in, the lungs expand and the rib cage expands. Can you actually feel the body expanding with the in-breath? Just very slightly. And then that sense of falling away and letting go as the body breathes out. And noticing when the mind, as it will, wanders off away from this sensing and feeling, being mode, back into the often busier, more frantic, doing mode of thinking, engaging in thoughts. And that's okay when this happens. Practicing mindfulness is about noticing when that happens. And then just gently guiding your awareness back again, back into the being mode of sensing and feeling the body just gradually rising with the in-breath and then falling away with the out-breath. Now, if you're feeling very busy in the mind and perhaps noticing that there's some agitation there, you may notice that the breath could be quite shallow and rapid, maybe held in the chest. And this is quite normal, there's nothing wrong. But if you do notice this, you might like to just very gently deepen the in-breath and lengthen the out-breath so that you're starting to regulate the breathing. Perhaps slowing it down a little, not forcing it in any way. You might like to say phrases as you breathe in. You might like to say breathing in calm. And as you breathe out, you might like to say breathing out tension. So just following the breath. Just one breath at a time. Light, relaxed awareness on the breath. And returning your awareness back again to the body breathing each time you notice that the mind is wandering. And now beginning to move your awareness through the body a little more, so becoming aware of the contact that the body's making with the seat of the chair. Perhaps a sense of pressure. And sensing into the legs, the thighs, the knees, the bottom half of the legs. Perhaps you can sense clothing around the legs, or the material, whatever you're sitting on against your skin. Moving now down to the feet, and sensing and feeling the feet making contact with the floor. Maybe noticing a sense of tingling or warmth, coolness around the feet. Beginning now to widen your awareness so that you're taking in the whole of the body just as it is right now. Sitting. A sense of feeling grounded, steady. And a light awareness of the breath. So spending a few moments now just resting in this awareness. And this includes noticing when the mind wanders back off into thinking, knowing that this is not a problem. And then just gently guiding your awareness back again to just resting in the chair, sensing the body, feeling the breath. And seeing if you can have an attitude of perhaps soothing and kindness towards yourself. There's nothing to do, nothing to achieve. And then ending the practice when you can no longer hear the sound of the bell. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.